Howdy everybody, welcome to another Kickstarter monthly roundup. Now, apologies that there wasn't one last month. There was a couple of reasons for that. Firstly, very busy with games, but also very busy with the Games Expo, but also there just wasn't anything good on Kickstarter in May. May just kind of sucked for Kickstarter projects. I would have been talking about, very... not stuff that I was interested in or any stuff that I don't think was getting a lot of buzz anyway. So I just kind of figured, you know what, I got to a point where, particularly as I was gearing up for the expo, that I just had to say, you know what, May can wait. And I think I also was a little bit ill at some point during that month, I can't remember, but suffice to say, it just didn't seem worth it. But there's been a few big projects hitting Kickstarter recently in the last few days, so there is actually room to talk about stuff for June. But as before, most of these are off the fly, they're on the cuff, they are first time seeing them, it's, going into it blind. Some of them I am aware of, and one of them I have actually played, and I have my first impression thoughts on that one. But, and that's my, anger a few people, we'll see. But all in all, it should be an interesting selection of games. So let's get on with it. And as always, see if my throat continues to keep up with me as I drink my lovely honey tea. I love it. But you're going to be seeing me take stuff from this quite a lot. So let's get the window up. Share. Let's see. Hopefully that is showing. There we go. Stalker. Although let's put myself... Ugh. Ah, not there, no, not there, not there, there, that's where we want me. Okay, so Stalker. Apparently, I'm assuming this is based on a video game, let's see, a 1 to 4 player fully cooperative story-based zone crawler, an alternate version of Chernobyl nuclear plant exclusion zone. Doesn't mention anything about a video game, but I thought Stalker was a video game. Let me have a quick look. Stalker video game. That could be taken out of context really badly. Okay, so I hope Google finds me. Oh yeah, Stalker, there were a couple of, survival horror video games. Okay, I've just never played these, so I know nothing about this series. But, oh, blimey, it's already at $2 million. That worries me a little bit, because... although saying that is by Awakened Realms. Awakened Realms do put out some good stuff, and naturally they will. In fact, I was kind of unaware that Awakened Realms was going to do a Stalker game. Okay, so 2 hours, 1 to 4 players. Grim and dark is what they kind of do best a lot, really. I mean, certainly with things like Frostpunk and that. So they've got a bit of a reputation. I just see the word campaign, though. That doesn't fill me with joy. So either in campaign mode or zone survival mode. Oh, one-off session full of surprises and unscripted adventures. You know what? Good. And campaign mode is divided into 3 chapters, each 10 to 12 hours. Now, that's not the easiest thing to complete. 10 to 12 hours, 36 hours. I mean, it's better than most, I will say that, but still a great bit of time. But I'm curious about these scenarios, these individual ones, the ones that I could just take to a game night. That would be pretty good. So, get twice as much for the same money. Yep, you do get a lot of content when it comes to Awakened Realms. You do get some fantastic miniatures. The question is, though, will the game be any good? But, I mean, this War of Mine, I love. Tainted Grail, I love. Frostpunk, which technically isn't Awakened Realms, it's more people who came from Awakened Realms, but still, they're linked. They do put out some really good stuff. Now, they've had some problem childs as well, like Ether Fields, and, the less said about that reprint of Castles of Burgundy, the better, but this seems like a cool setting to do a board game for Awakened Realms. I mean, the question is it going to be a bit like Frostpunk, where you got, like, story-based events that take place? Or is it a bit more like this War of Mine in that respect? I mean, I'm certainly getting a bit of this War of Mine vibes here. Dual layer boards, so get equipment, gear upgrades, ensure your survival, track your radiation, obviously fight gribbly monsters. That guy looks particularly unfriendly. A Snork. Snork? What a name to give a creature, but... okay, cool. These do look pretty cool, even though we have seen these designs in a lot of other things before. Not sure what the anomalies are. There must be something to do with the radiation. Story twists. Yeah, story twists are always good. 30 to 36 hours of gameplay in the core box, and then presumably there'll be additional campaigns. Replayable, as the scenarios will change from one playthrough to the next. Cool. I'm definitely down for that. And whew, it's hot in here. I got to close the windows, and it's very hot and humid today. So if I start sweating, you'll know why. Each campaign consists of 3 missions, 10 to 12 hours. I mean, 10 to 12 hours for a mission. So presumably, are you going to have to leave this on the table and like, or can you save it and come back to it later? Let's see, you got more stuff. Oh god, they're probably going to... I was going to say there's going to be more reveals, but I'm sure there'll probably be more stretch goal campaigns or something. 12 basic rules, full rules, yes, I do like it. Ooh, open and played guide. Featured guides new players through the game mechanics and a few short scenarios. Good. They did a really good tutorial for Tainted Grail. I like these open and play guides. I just want to learn the game and get stuck in, and these sort of things I really approve of. This does look pretty sweet. I mean, $95 gets you a decent amount of content, so what do you get when you add more? Just basically... oh yeah, the miniature pack. So you get the zone survival, you get that anyway. So this is just adding miniatures, basically, of the zone threats. I guess you just get cardboard tokens or standees normally. Zone threats, well, maybe I'll say more later. The collector's chest, purely a collector's item and there's no gameplay value. Yeah, I can certainly see that. And this gets you... 1 copy of Stalker, the board game, plus all the stretch goals, anomalies packs, terrain pack for $219. Yeah, this isn't going to be a cheap one again, is it? And on top of that, what is the shipping? Ship. Come on. Don't try to hide the shipping from me, Awakened Realms. Yep, out of the way, you previewers. Come on. Show me the shipping. Alright. I'd never really latched onto Nemesis enough. Oh yeah, ISS Vanguard. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. I have since sold my copy of Vanguard. I do still think it's a great game. It's just another long campaign game. It takes a long time to set up and relearn the rules, despite the very good tutorial and, you know, Paul Grogan having his hand in it. But it's just too much. I just haven't got the time to play it, so I decided to let it go. So UK, $17, $20 for shipping. That's not bad. But wow, hang on, estimated shipping, January 2025? That's ages! I'm not sure I want to spend, you know, $100 to $200 on something that I've got to wait over a year and a half for. That's quite some time. But, you know, we'll see. Split wave. Oh, you can get, so wait a minute, so single wave is January 25. Or you get split. Oh, you can get something in April 24. But what do they split? So you would get everything in there. So presumably you would get the core box. And then you would get the rest later. Does it say how they will split? That's the thing they haven't really mentioned here. What are they splitting? I mean, they must give you the core set first. That seems like the most obvious choice. And then presumably you get the rest, the other campaign stuff later. Maybe I've missed it, but I don't know, this looks interesting. I'll keep an eye on it, but I don't know if I want to spend that much money on another big box Kickstarter like this, but it's Awakened Realms. They know what they're doing most of the time. I'm interested. I'm going to keep an eye on this one and see whether the money justifies the content and whether the game is going to be any good. Bear in mind, I have no knowledge of this setting. All right. Thiefdom. I know nothing about this. I've seen a couple of previewers and some content creators do previews on it, and that's as much as I know. I literally know nothing about this. So, lead a daring guild of thieves on the ultimate heist, immersive board game for 1 to 4 players. Everything's got to have a solo mode these days. Not making a ton of money. From the creators of Clans of Caledonia, so Karma Games, is it? Okay. Now, I've never played Clans of Caledonia, and honestly, I don't really have much desire to. I like what the setting was for it, and then I heard it was completely themeless and was basically a Terra Mystica clone. I burnt out on Terra Mystica. I don't need a clone, so I don't really see Clans of Caledonia being a game that I'm going to be anything more than, it's alright, you know, and that's not exactly going to sell me on this, but this has got to be, what's his name? What's the name of the artist? Miko? Yeah, this is the Miko's artwork. It's gotta be, surely. So, lead competing thieves skills, steal from the rich, and prove you're the most skillful thief. Interactive strategy, control 3 thieves, avoid the guards, and who also control other players. Okay, interesting. Let's see. Yeah, I don't care about Clans of Caledonia. Let's have a look. So, pick up and deliver with a stealthy twist. I mean, this could be interesting. Control 3 thieves. Rob the rich. Smuggle some goods. Watch out, get arrested. Okay. I mean, this is an interesting little theme. And with modular city quarters, you can have a different city layout each time. Have some equipment. Sounds cool. And yes, I knew it. Yeah, the Miko. It had to be the Miko. That was definitely the Miko's artwork. So it's going to look great. I like the way their characters are. They look sort of cartoony and weird. Yes, they're not meant to be super realistic, but they're vibrant and detailed. I really do like the Miko's artwork when it comes to this sort of thing. I mean, you know, he did a great job in there. Yep, Board Game Ramblings have done their bit as well. Let's see. I get the theme's probably good, but the question is the gameplay good? That's, you know, the theme is great, and that's, you know, I certainly want there to be a good theme here, but if the gameplay sucks, the theme's only going to do so much to save it. Let's see. Okay, so you get a copy of it, and a few stretch goals, and I really do not give a monkeys about wallpapers and strategy guides and stuff. That's not what it is. Tutorial game? Oh, okay, cool. Well, that might be worth checking out at some point. Not interested in previews. Okay, so money back guarantee. It's on Tabletop Simulator. Okay, cool. So I could always try it. Problem is, I always say I'm going to try it, but I never really get the time to try games in alpha mode in that sense. I did it with Ark Nova on Board Game Arena, but that's a different story. You know, that's Ark Nova. Why wouldn't I? But I don't know. I mean, this looks interesting as well. I don't know if it's a game I'm going to adore, and how much is it going to cost? Wow, that's cheap. Wow, that's very cheap. Is that it? 25 quid? I mean, obviously, plus shipping in UK VAT and stuff, but that's all it is? Hang on a minute. So, Thiefdom is there, and yet Early Bird, an extended 3-month-long money-back guarantee. Is that all the Early Bird thing is? Alright, fine, whatever. Oh no, 4 items included. So, digital strategy guide, digital wallpaper, extended money-back guarantee. That's it. So, it's just the money-back guarantee. Whatever. That is cheap. How on earth are they making this game for 25 bucks? That looks like a lot of stuff in there for 25 quid. That's very good value. And they expect to, again, December 24? Does a game that's only going to cost £25 and is already, like, in kind of beta stage in a sense, given that a lot of these previewers have already played, you know, decent looking copies of the game from what I've seen, does that really warrant December 24? I mean, June 23 now, and it says we plan to open the pledge manager around December 23. What, so 6 months? You're not going to do anything? Oh, I see, because they want to get these 2 upcoming Kickstarter games out of the way, and then they want to concentrate on this. Well, I mean, I'll check it out when it comes out on release, but there's not much incentive for me to grab this. I mean, there's a few stretch goals in that, but for that cheaper money, given that I'm going to have to pay 20% VAT and extra shipping on top, and wait over a year and a half for you to deliver this thing, I'll just wait for retail. I mean, why pledge now? So, early access. Well, I wouldn't call December 24 early, thank you very much. That is an incredible deal. I will give you that. So hang on, a hefty discount compared to the expected post-release price. It's a year and a half away though, and even then, that post-release price is going to be the same as what I pay now with the shipping and the VAT for the UK, so I'm not saving anything. I do not give a monkeys about digital wallpapers and strategy guides, so it's really just the stretch goals. And what were the stretch goals? Let's have a look. Stretch goals, stretch goals. So a rules quiz. Really? A rules quiz? That's a stretch goal. Okay, fine. Digital tutorial. Very good. Screen printed thief meeples. Nice. And a custom insert. I mean, true, although could the custom insert not be part of the Kickstarter? Oh no, well, yeah, but when we're talking about it, it's a stretch goal. Although, honestly, I would have rather there was a good custom insert in the box at retail as well. That would make good value, but I can understand why that would be a stretch goal. Anyway, the question is that just going to be in the Kickstarter? Is that going to be a Kickstarter exclusive? That I'm hoping it's not. I hope that they will include everything. But, yeah, I mean, for that much money, I don't know how they're affording to make this game. I'm worried that this is going to be one of those games where, you know, further down the line we hear that shipping is too high to make this game feasible. I mean, we've already had Elf Creek Games into this problem. Why do I think that this one's going to go down the same line? For doing it for that cheap, that just seems... It's great value, but that is cheap. How on earth are you making any profit on this? Oh well, we shall see. I'm interested, but not enough to want to back it for that long a wait. God, I hate my throat. Right, what do we got then? Gale Force 9, Firefly the game. Now, I love the Firefly series. In fact, I haven't watched that in so long. Part of me, if I didn't have so much to catch up on TV at the moment, I would actually love to just go and watch that again. Firefly's just got some great quotes. I've used some of them in my videos. No, you will burn in a very special level of hell. Oh, I do, and I love, what's my favourite quote from Firefly? In terms of comedy, I love it when, oh, what's this guy's pilot name? I haven't watched it in so long, but the pilot's messing around with the dinosaurs, and he's doing the little like voiceovers for it. It's like, I think we should call it your grave, curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal. It's I love that line, but is that the movie? I get the feeling that's the movie. I don't know, or is it the pilot episode? It has been so long since I watched this series, I really need to get back to it. The game, on the other hand, not too good. I mean, it represents the theme well, but it's very lucky, and it's like 3+ hours. This is a game you play for hours and hours and hours, where you roll dice and hope you win. You know, it is so much of a luck fest. And I don't want to play that kind of thing for 3 and a bit hours. I mean, if this was a 1 hour game, I'd probably buy it, but I'm not, and the components were pretty shoddy. You know, if this collector's edition is going to up the opponents, fine, but it just sounds like it's just putting all the content that you already had. I mean, it's still using screen caps, which is not particularly great. It's still using the same graphic design as before. So literally, it's just a bunch of promo cards I don't care about, a new expansion, there's already a bucket load of expansions for it, everything ever made, and it's in a giant box. And it still looks like this. Okay, fine. So how good's this box then? So a complete rulebook. Wow. That's a lot of trays. 4-player token trays for your table. Yep, cool, per player. Storage to hold all your card, including enough space to sleeve every single card. Good. Don't care about promos. But, oh, let's have a look here. So, wow. That is a lot of content. Whoo-wee. It does look pretty sweet. I do love these two. Oh, I mean, I like her, like, generally years ago, but oh man, did I have such a man crush on her character. I mean, you've got a beautiful, witty, cute as nails mechanic. So like, I mean, there's just nothing about that is not cool. She was just such a cool character. The complete set, and every time the doctor bloke was constantly like fobbing her off or saying something stupid, I always kept shouting at the screen, going, "You moron!" Alright, the complete set only ever been printed once. Upgrade components, doesn't look like there's much in the way of upgrade components, and okay, whoa, $220. I'm sure that's probably good value, but how much of this content are you going to use? This looks like one of those deals where you end up with like a ton of stuff and you just won't use the add-ons unless you are a die-hard fan of this game. I don't see this being something I would want to jump into if I was new to the Firefly game. But if you're already a fan of the Firefly game, wouldn't you already just have all the content? You wouldn't really want this anyway, unless you're desperate for the big box, I guess. But still, that seems a bit much. But, I mean, June 24, it's got, oh no, it's Jan 24. So we've got 2 new games that can't deliver until pretty much like 2025 or end of 24. This one at least can get all the content out by Jan 24, so at least you're going to get it pretty soon. Granted, it's mostly a big box, it's not much new, but still. And we've got base game, well, I guess base game for the whole thing. So $15 to ship a giant big box is pretty good, to be honest. That does seem a little bit cheap. I guess it is more UK based, but still, that's $235. It's a lot of money, but if you're a fan of Firefly the game, then consider it, I guess. But then if you already have all the content, are you that desperate to buy this just for the box and that newish expansion? And if you're brand new to Firefly, do you really want this much content all at once? This is a very niche market, which is probably why it is on GameFound, because frankly, this sort of thing probably does need a GameFound funding project. But I mean, what do I know? It's already at 1.3 million with 5,600 people, so there's either a lot of people wanting to get into Firefly, or there's a lot of very diehard fans who want the big bucks and some of these deluxe components. So, oh well, good on you. Like I say, the game's not for me. Too much of a long luck fest. But I love Firefly. I like the theme in the game, and man, do I want to watch the TV series again. Yes, I do love the show. Okay, Fairies and Magical Creatures. I don't know much about this one, other than it's by Forbidden Games, who sadly have not been producing a lot of stuff that I've been particularly interested in. I mean, let's see what they've done. 10 created, so just to go through the list. Right, so, not played Railroad Rivals, don't really have much of a desire to. Don't like Raccoon Tycoon at all. In fact, I would I say I hate it? Hate's a strong word, but I do find it incredibly boring. It's not a game I enjoy. Not played Pirates, don't miss the Dungeon Party, whatever. Not played Lizard Wizard, but frankly, if it's anything like Raccoon Tycoon, yeah, to be honest, I haven't played much of their stuff. It's just their stuff doesn't really appeal to me. You know, and Raccoon Tycoon, I think, just left a bad taste in my mouth. That being said, I do really want to play Mosaic. I just wasn't prepared to spend like £200 for a massive colossal box for it on a complete gamble as to whether I would like it or not. And from what I've heard, there's still some quality of life issues, particularly in the retail edition, but even in the Colossal edition as well, that get in the way of getting it played. I really want to try before I buy on this one. And I really do. Somebody at a convention or at my club, show me this game. I want to play it. Preferably the Colossal version though. So what is Fairies and Magical Creatures? I mean, it's certainly a pretty nice looking cover, I'll give it that. Pretty nice artwork. Annie Steg Gerard. Okay, I mean, yeah, good on you. This is very nice artwork. Okay, an hour, complexity 2, strategy 3. You say low luck, and yet you've got 3 out of 5. I mean, I don't know what your scale is. So, a fun, quick-playing strategy game with multiple ways to win. The game is interactive, easy to learn, engaging both whatever. Most victory points at the end, really, you had to put that on there. Amazing oil painter, yeah, agreed. Very nice painting. So, what exactly do you do? So you build a deck of unique fairy cards to gain trust and kinsmen with the 5 fairy folk and build the ultimate fairy garden. So you have tiles, so this is polyomino by the looks of it. Yeah, you're putting polyomino tiles down. And I like the fact that I've had to go down and look at a picture to figure that out as well. Nobody's actually told me this, but okay. Draft a new card, so from a selection I guess. Play a card from your hand and draw cards. Okay. Each player will perform the same selected action clockwise around the table. Ah, okay. So you choose one of the 5 actions, and then everybody does the same action. So, yeah, the same selected action. Okay, I like that. I like that mechanic in games. You know, Empires of the Void 2 does something similar. You pick an action and everybody follows it. So that will lead to some interesting, you know, little strategies. What have we got? So the base game, $50. Seems a little bit expensive. I mean, Thiefdom's going to do it for 25. You know, €29, $25. Yeah, still cheaper. But then this one does have more wood tokens by the looks of it, and of course this gorgeous artwork. I mean, that is going to be a cover to remember. That's really, really nice. So what do you get in the premium version then? So extra acting player token, as if I care. Translucent fairy gem kinship tokens. Okay, I don't know if I'm a fan of that. Silk bag, whatever, 16 tarots. So you get player starting cards or 60 fairy cards, but then you can have tarot sized. Ooh, that might make me tempted for the bigger version actually. I don't care about the upgraded starting player token, and I'm not sure if translucent fairy tokens are going to be good. I mean, how bad are the normal tokens? But I do like cards being bigger, and this sort of artwork deserves tarot-sized cards. It's going to be a bigger box then. But yeah, ooh, that could be it. What's this all in then? So what have we got here? So level 1 is just the postcards. Who cares? So 3 is the deluxe. So what's this one got then? Oh, you get the gift box with the postcards. Yeah, whatever. I wouldn't go for that. $89 though. $89 for what? Let's have a look. No, not 5th player kit. Stop it. Do not make that a stretch goal. I'm not playing this with 5 players. Stop. Okay, well, let's have a look. The usual previews. Let's see. Where do we have... So, components. So, we got here. So, some player boards. And the wood tokens look perfectly fine to me. Polyomino garden tiles. The artwork on the tiles and the garden looks a little basic, though. All the artwork seems to be really on that board and the cards. But man, do they look good. And if they're unique... Hoo-hoo-wee. Hang on a minute. Wait, is that a spider? That's a spider. That is a huge spider. As a plain starter card. Oh, great. I mean, that's not going to put me off too much of the game, but I'm going to have to constantly see that card, and it's going to freak me out. I don't like spiders. Why is everyone obsessed with putting a spider in a game? You can do a nature-themed setting and not have spiders. You have the whole of the freaking animal kingdom at your disposal. You can deal without spiders. Why include a starting player card that is based on the world's biggest phobia? That is not a good move. Come on. I mean, you had a frog, you had a fox, you had a duck or geese or whatever. You couldn't have had like a deer. What about a deer? You know, was a deer so hard to do? You had to have a giant spider? Don't like. There better not be a big picture of it or scream. That is very cheap shipping though. £6 to ship it? Whew, that is dirt cheap. Very, very dirt cheap. Where are they based? Are they based in the UK? No, they're based in Kansas City. They must be making very good use of the hubs then. I mean, the game sounds fairly basic. I mean, it sounds like stuff we've seen before. But that artwork is damn nice. I mean, that spider aside, this is not too expensive either. I mean, you know, yeah, the base game could be better, but the base game's not bad. The premium version, I don't know if £70 is worth it, but then if you're only paying £6 to ship it, £76 for a delivered premium Kickstarter game ain't half bad. And it's limited quantity as well. They've only got half their stock left. And it's going to be delivered later this year. Whoa, okay. What the level 2 game is going to be delivered in August? We haven't even finished the Kickstarter yet, and you think you're going to deliver this in literally a month and a half's time? How on earth are you managing to do it that quick? But that's for the basic set. So the level 3 version, you won't get till November. So people are going to have played the game before you have by buying the cheaper version. And if they find out the game isn't any good, and you're still waiting for your premium version, that's going to hurt. That's going to hurt quite a bit. Sure, that's a little bit worrying, but I don't know. Could be a sweet little game. I wouldn't mind checking this one out. Alright, now let's have a look at... So we've got two more on this one, but they're pretty big ones by the looks of it. So, sad to say, we can't look at the Galactic Cruise. Galactic Cruise is, let's see, build and launch shuttles to send guests on luxurious space vacations. The only reason I sort of brought this one up at first is because it sounds like a really cool theme. However, I didn't realize it was actually not out yet, you know, on Kickstarter. So, do we have Galactic Cruise? Hang on, yeah. Galactic Cruise BGG. Can we at least look at the can we look at the BGG page at least? So, what do we got here? Hello, welcome to Galactic Cruise. I mean, don't worry, if it comes out on Kickstarter in time for another monthly roundup, I will do a proper discussion on it. But, oh my god, offer our guests something special, the comfort of a luxury cruise. Alright, so as a supervisor, you'll be expected to not only build the shuttles, but satisfy the guests, help the company thrive, enhance the network, invent new technologies, grow your workforce. This sounds pretty cool from a thematic perspective. So, worker placement. They can be pilots, they can be earthbound, they can construct shuttles, attract guests. One person will be a pilot, navigating the shuttle to various destinations in days in space. And you'll be competing with fellow survivors to complete company goals. I mean, this kind of gives me a kind of Kanban vibe, you know, where you're trying to satisfy your boss and do better than the other workers at the place. But who's doing this? This is not Eagle Griffin. This is Kinson Key Games. I have never heard of this. This is their first game. That is the worrying thing. I mean, well, let's see, founded in 2020, but I've not seen any other games from them. Deliver Us, whatever, I've never heard of that one. I'm pretty sure most of the human race hasn't either. But this is essentially going to be their first game, but they've managed to get Ian O'Toole to do the artwork for it, so that's pretty good going. And that does mean that it will at least look functional and presentable in that. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to keep an eye on this one purely from that theme. That theme sounds fantastic. And if they can pull off a really good game to go with that theme, this could be one I really, really enjoy. But while we're on the subject of Ian O'Toole, let's get on to this one. The Big Daddy, Inventions. Inventions has been doing the rounds lately, and I mean doing the rounds. It is popular as all get out because anytime Vital Lacerda breathes on Eurogamers, they instantly want whatever's come out, I guess. It's basically a massive fanboygasm out there. It's insane. But I have played this game. Mark Dainty taught me and a couple of other people at UK Games Expo, and it was a bit of a teach, but, you know, give the guy credit. It's a long game. He only played it a couple of times, mostly solo, and it's not easy to teach. And partly is because the rules are not the most intuitive in this game. So I'm ignoring the fact that that it was a little bit on the slower side at that respect. Was the gameplay any fun? We'll get on to that. So, usual, Ian O'Toole, Eagle Griffin Games, big giant box, costs an arm and a leg, coming out next year, so at least they've got a quick fulfillment date. But yes, costs an arm and a leg, yes, £101 for the game, plus whatever it is to ship and VAT, and if I know anything about Eagle Griffin Games, they're not very good at using their postage hubs. This is going to be pretty expensive on the shipping front. In fact, why don't we just stave the course and find out exactly how much that is already. So, what we got? Add-on, pledge levels, let's just, first wave? Oh, upgrade pack, whatever. Yeah, preview, don't care. Previews are not interesting or relevant. Right, so stretch goals, increased cosmetics. Where's the shipping? Where's the shipping? I have not skipped the shipping. Here we go. Shipping and fulfillment. So, North America, $18, pretty cheap. Not too bad for that. Although that is a massive jump for anywhere else, and even Canada gets the short end of the stick. $18. $18 is not bad to ship it to United Kingdom. However, that is also going to have VAT on top, so that's going to be, let's see, £101, plus what is probably about a tenner to ship it, so 111, plus another 20%, so that's probably going to be another £22 roughly on top of that. So this is going to be another £130 to £140 bracket game. It's a lot of money. These Lacerdas behind my head aren't cheap. So what you actually do? Well, basically, I'll read it from here because it's probably easier than me describing it. So, Inventions follows humanity's most noteworthy innovations and places the power of those technological developments in your hands. So, cards simulate these new concepts. They are the ideas that become inventions. Once they are invented, they can be shared with the world, and everyone involved in the process spreads the news, and you can even share with other societies, boosting their efficiency. That's all thematic. Let's actually get to the whole crux of the game. At some point, the thing will get to the game. But okay, seriously, I don't need to see previews. Previews are not, for me, and hopefully not for many people. Where's the gameplay? Are you kidding me? Where's the... Are you serious? So the game overview. So he's given a brief little thing. The draft rulebook. And that's it. This Kickstarter page does not have the rules or easily gameplay mechanic stuff in the main page. You have to watch videos for it. No. How about no? How about you bother to fill out your page? That's lazy. That is utterly lazy. Poor. But, oh well, shall I fill in a few blanks then, it seems. So, looking on this, it's worker placement. You have these spaces down here where these pillars are. You have 3 pillars, and you essentially, in each era, which is about 5 or 6, you place these pillars out on the spaces. As you can see, they're linked in pairs, so there's an action for each side, so there's at least, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 actions on that board. But if you put your pillar in the left side of one row, you can't do the one from the other side, so you are locking off the row. And with these actions, you are essentially, for the most part, playing and flipping cards, because you have to do what's first to come up with an idea. So the ideas are basically things like iron or glasses or, you know, a hammer or chisel, whatever. You know, they're various inventions, these cards. So you shared. So one action is to think of the idea. So you place it face up on the board, and you put your meeple down and get a bonus. You then have an action that can be to invent it. So you put your meeple down on the actual card and you invent it, and it's now flipped over and can be shared with the world. The other action, you could innovate on the idea. So you innovate, you put a meeple down, you can get another bonus, and then you can put another action to share the idea with the world, which gets points and various bonuses for whoever's on the card in terms of their color meeples, and can also get your meeples on this map here, which is basically just glorified area control. Control these various sections of the world, you'll get more bonuses and points. Yeah, you notice there's a theme running with this. It's somewhat on the generic side, and the theme is... People will argue this for days about whether it's a really thematic game or not. I don't feel like I'm an inventor in this game, okay? The cards and the theme could be replaced with just about anything, and I don't think you would have to change the mechanics. You've got these tiles on the left here, which are like the actual concepts. So for example, you know, the start of, you know, modern language or like English language, that tile, you need to have a meeple on it in order to be able to take invention cards like writing, for example. You know, you need to know language before you can write. You need to know iron before you can deal with the invention of smelting or something. You know, it's stuff like that. But that's basically just a prerequisite for a card, and the cards are all pretty generic. They just have a different chaining bonus at the bottom, and that's pretty much the only difference between most of the cards, frankly. It's just what chaining bonus you get. What's a chaining bonus? Well, you've got an influence track here in the center. You can get a certain amount of chain bonus tokens for each era, which basically is that when you do a particular action, each action has a bit on the board, and there are these chain extra bonuses you can take. So, for example, it's a bit like getting extra actions in the Gallerist. When somebody jumps you off a space, you get to spend influence and do something. Well, here you don't necessarily spend the influence, you have the chain token. And so let's say I decide I want to innovate on a card. So I put my meeple down, I'm there, I've innovated on the idea. Oh, there's an action on that card that says perform this other action. I'll put my chain token on it and I get to do this. These chain tokens are pretty limited though. I mean, most of the time in the game you're going to have one of them each era. If you're lucky, 2. If you're phenomenal, once in the game you might get 3. But gaining influence is not something that's easily done, and so don't think that this game is going to be about loads of chaining bonuses, because frankly, for the amount of stuff you're doing in this game, the chaining bonuses are not as big a deal as I thought they were going to be. The other problem, I mean, to sort of put it simply, the game is fine. I enjoyed it enough. I feel like the Surda games are getting to their peak. I love these 4 behind me, okay? It took me a bit longer to warm up to Lisboa, but Gallerist, Kanban, Vinhos, Lisboa, these are my 4 chosen Lacerda games, right? I got rid of On Mars, it was too impractical, but the game was fine. I wasn't the biggest fan. I hate Escape Plan. I wasn't a huge fan of Weather Machine. I thought Weather Machine was fine, but again, it just felt very generic. The theme didn't come through for me, and I couldn't really relate to the game in any way. It was just a bunch of mechanics, of which none of them are particularly intuitive, because there was a lot of times, particularly with R&D, where you get halfway through the action and realize you can't do it, and then you have to retract the turn. That happens a lot. This one happened a lot on that as well. A lot of these turns or actions are multi-step paths, and if you get halfway through it and realize, oh wait, you need that color meeple on that card, or else you can't do it, or you're missing a particular resource, then good luck trying to retract it back. It's a lot. And that is just the fact that it's a learning game, so it's not that big a deal. But if there's not a player aid in front of you with a step-by-step written narrative of how all the actions work, you're going to struggle to remember how these actions work, because it is not intuitive for the game board. But the game itself is mainly just another Lacerda. I found it just the same. I feel like Lacerda Games reached a peak, and now they're doing what Board and Dice did with their tea games. They started off great with their tea games, then it got samey, and then they started getting dreary and a bit dull, and they came back down. And Lacerda Games, I feel like, are going down that same route. You know, we've peaked, we had brilliant games, and then Weather Escape Plan and Weather Machine, and now Inventions. It's like the design space is limited. People need to now innovate more, and it's kind of ironic that this is called Inventions Evolution of Ideas, and yet in mechanical terms there is not a thing that is an evolution of any mechanical idea in this game. You've seen all of this stuff before, nothing's new, and thematically it doesn't really help. You know, whoopee, I'm controlling little continent areas on the board. We've seen that before. You know, it doesn't even really need to be a function of the game, frankly. And then you've got this player board here. Your meeples go on to different spots, and they have 3 different qualifications effectively, you know, and scholars are wild, and the other 3 are based on particular cards. But then you've got this tile grid system, where every time you do an action, you end up with this tile at the bottom of your board, which for reasons, if you don't fill up the track, it costs you more influence to put them out, whatever. But then you've got this grid here, that you just arbitrarily put them on the grid in whatever organization you like. There are some point endgame scoring tiles which you must get hold of if you want to stand any chance of winning, but they may suggest put 3 of these tiles in a hexagon, put 3 of these tiles next to each other in a line or whatever, but some of them don't care how you place them on the grid. In fact, in my case, I think one of them cared about a position, the rest of them didn't. So what is the point of this grid? It's purely mechanical. There's no thematic reason for this grid, putting hexagons on it in random orders and stuff. It's just, it's a mechanic for mechanic's sake, and that's the problem I find with this, is that nothing about this feels that thematic to me. I didn't feel like I was getting the Inventions sort of arc out of it, but it wasn't bad. I didn't dislike the game. I know I'm ragging on bits and bobs with it, but then that's because it's getting hyped like crazy, because this is what all these previewers do, they hype it up like crazy. But, you know, because that's what they are, they're just adverts. But the game itself is fine. And I do like Lacerda Games. I've got 4 behind my head. How much more proof do you need that I like Lacerda Games? But they are reaching, they're doing a Stonemaier. Because Stonemaier had that thing. I mean, I love Viticulture, I love Scythe, and I love Wingspan. Then Tapestry was unbalanced, and then who really wants that new version of Libertalia compared to the old one? And then Pendulum was a complete garbage fest, and I'm hearing from people who have played the new Expeditions, the spin-off from Scythe, that it's a bit samey and repetitive as well, and it's just, I think, and Charterstone wasn't that great either. So, you know, Stonemaier hit a peak and are now coming down. I think these are starting to come down now. They're just not bringing the A game. Again, this is supposed to be evolution of ideas, and it's not evolving a damn thing. You know, it will look great. I mean, Ian O'Toole is doing the artwork, so it's going to look functional and presentable. You know, there's a difference between functional and presentable and actual good artwork. I mean, let's face it. Look at the board. You know, this is another thing. Yes, it's going to look presentable in terms of, you know where the iconography is and stuff like that, and it's going to be colourful, but look, well, I say colourful, look at it. It's brown and beige. It's brown and beige with a bit of sage green or whatever it is for the sea there. That's it. I mean, the main bit of colour is your player pieces and your board, but everything else is pretty dreary. Yeah, it looks clean and neat. That's Ian O'Toole's shtick. He's very good at making very good, clean, easy to follow graphic design. But the actions in this are pretty fiddly, and the artwork is just, I don't know, it's just plain and beige. I don't know, it's lots of browns and beige doesn't make for a good looking board, in my opinion. But, you know, give the guy credit, he does some really good stuff. But it's just, I don't care about the upgrade concept. You know, the components were good. You know, the inventions, whatever. I mean, even when you get the inventions, they don't really do much. They just have a chaining bonus on it. I've got domestication of dogs. What's the chain bonus? It lets me do a present idea action. Why is that linked to it? I have no idea, because once they're on your board, they have no business being whatever invention they are. They are literally just a bonus card. As I say, the theme I don't think is very strong in this. It's not a particularly long game. I mean, ours dragged out a bit mainly because we were learning it, and it was at the Games Expo, but I could see people getting this in a bit of a shorter time, say 2.5 hours, rather than the full 3 hours plus. But I just don't feel the need to play it again. I'm sure I'll give it another try or two when it's released, but I'm not backing this. I just don't... it just feels like another generic Lacerda. And if you like everything that Lacerda does, like every single one of these games you love, you're going to love this one. There's no reason you shouldn't, and you should go back this. And there are people I know who are massive Lacerda fans. Mark Dainty for a kickoff, pretty much likes anything Lacerda takes out at any time. And naturally, he loves it. So, and I know some people who have worked on developing this game, they love it. But it's just another Euro. It's like Carnegie, it's like Weather Machine, it's just another Euro. It's like Darwin's Journey, it's another Euro, it's another hodgepodge of mechanics without any real consideration of theme and without really doing anything new and interesting with the mechanics. I mean, it's, I play this, like, for example, if this was on the selection, like, let's say we're going to play a Lacerda game tonight, I would never pick this over any of these four. If I'm going to keep a Lacerda game in my collection, it has to surpass one of these four and kick the other out, because I don't want to store more than four because they fit in a Calyx shelf really nicely. I would never choose to play this over those four. I'd probably rather play Weather Machine, in fact. I don't know, this one's kind of on par with Weather Machine, but I mean, it's certainly not bad like Escape Plan. The game aside, I mean, you want a rating? First impressions? I'd give it a 6. I was teetering on a 5, but I think 5 may be a bit harsh. I'd give it a 6. It's above average, but above average isn't good enough when you're spending £130 plus on a game and putting up with all the rules learning and all the teach and long games and stuff. I need more than that. I need an actual evolution of ideas and an actual decent thematic setting. I mean, when he does thematic settings like Gallerist and Kanban and Vinyos, perfect. They're great, and I love them. I mean, I adore Kanban. Kanban's one of my favourite Euros to play because it's mechanically sound and it's thematically sound. This one is mechanically fine, if you like those mechanics I was describing, and good on you, but they're nothing new, but it's also not particularly thematically interesting either. And, I mean, put it this way, I get about as much theme out of this game as I get out of playing Innovation, as in the card game by Culture, Asmadi Games, the abstract card game. Yeah, this game has about as much theme as that one. How's that for a comparison tool for you? So, anyway, I've talked about this long enough, and, I know it sounds like I'm bragging on it a lot. At the end of the day, if you love everything Lacerda does, and you've been very keen on his previous games, all of them, without exception, then I say, back this game, because you're going to like it. And, I don't see why you wouldn't. But if you're someone like me who's got, like, I'd say this game is for the real fans of Lacerda games. And I like to think I'm a fan of Lacerda, but perhaps I'm not anymore. I mean, I like these four, but I haven't bought any others since, so perhaps I'm just choosing my favourite Lacerdas. Like, more out of respect as opposed to loving every single game. If you love every single Lacerda, you're going to love this. It's a given fact, and you're going to enjoy it, go back it. But if, like me, you've picked out your choice favourite Lacerdas and the rest haven't really gauged for you, you might want to consider a try before you buy on this one. Give it a try. I certainly do not say don't play it. Try it. Go try it like I did. I wanted to try this game. I gave it a fair shot. It hasn't impressed me on first impressions. Bear in mind, this is just first impressions. Maybe I'll get a chance to play it again when it releases and do a review at that point. But for the most part, I'm just not excited for this one. This one's no doubt you're going to hear about it for donkey's ages whilst it's on Kickstarter. You want to spend the money? Go for it. You got another 21 days to do so. Alright, well, there we go. As I say, probably angered a few Lacerda fans on that one, but just give him honest thoughts, and like I say, there's some interesting little Kickstarters there, some mostly in the small game front. As for a particular sort of pick of the month, that's a bit more of a tricky story, actually. I mean, forget Galactic Cruise, because that's not even out yet. It's not going to be Inventions. It's Thiefdom. I don't think the game... I mean, the fact that it's taking so long to come out for what looks like a very small game, I'm not sure I'm a fan of that, but the concept sounds cool. I would like to try it, but I don't think this is enough to make me go, ooh, yeah, pick of the month. It's not going to be Firefly. It's got to be Stalker or Fairies and Magical Creatures, I think. But, I mean, Fairies and Magical Creatures, the retail version's enough, although you probably want the the deluxe version, and that's another $90. And Stalker, as much as this one is probably the one that interests me the most out of all these projects, this is a $95 core pledge, $200 game. It's difficult to give Game of the Month to something that is that expensive. So maybe it should go to Thiefdom. But I can't give it to Thiefdom just because it's cheap. I've got to be interested in everything else, and this has a lot of stuff in it that sounds cool, but there's also a lot in it that could go wrong. And the fact that they did Clans of Caledonia doesn't help me at all. If I was going to put my own money on any of these, would I get Stalker? Stalker looks cool, and it certainly is going to be my type of game. Tutorials are going to be good, it's going to be thematic, it's going to be dark. I like this type of setting. I think I'm going to... I mean, whatever. It's my rating at the end of the day. Yeah, I'm giving it the Stalker the board game. This one does look like it's going to be another hit for Awakened Realms. It's got that gritty setting that I like from what they've done before. They've got the pedigree to make this work. I will just say, caveat, the cost is quite high. But you know that with Awakened Realms, you get a lot of stuff for the content. So I'm definitely keen to look more into this one than I am the others, but I would still like to try Thiefdom, I would still like to try Fairies and Magical Creatures, and I've said my piece on Inventions. So, yeah, that's the one it's going to be. So that's it for me on this episode. Hope you enjoyed it, and hope you're not too angry if you're, like, massively waiting on Inventions, but that's just my first impressions. But until next time, you can check out more content on the channel. I'm pumping out reviews since the Games Expo. Mindbug is coming out soon. But for now, you can check out Moon and Planet Unknown, the Kennerspiel nominee. So I've done those. And of course, I'll get onto other content as quickly as I can because it's tricky trying to catch up. Zelda has not helped on that, although I have just completed Tears of the Kingdom now, so that's a lot of hours I should get back in my day, hopefully. But you can also, if you like the video, just thumb it up on YouTube and have fun, share it on social media in a good way, and just let me know your thoughts. You know, do any of these games interest you? Do you love Inventions? I'm sure there's going to be a ton of people who love it, but then do any of the other Kickstarters interest you? Do you know more about Thiefdom and Fairies and stuff? Are you a Firefly fanatic? And particularly with Firefly, are you new or a fan and already have the content, and are you backing or not backing this big box? Because I'm sort of interested to know more on that. But until next time, remember, regardless of what you choose to invent at the end of the day, it's still only a game. Bye for now.